are several amendments that have been made for CHRE 3rd edition manual. First of all, classification to determine degree of hazard by OSH Class Regulation 2013 hazard. Next, this amendment or these changes is in line with OSH Usage Regulation 2000. Other than that, there is reorganization of methodology, control measure, and also risk conclusion revamp. There are a few amendments that have been made for 3rd edition manual CHRA. We will go through chapter by chapter after this, but there is also a new topic in 3rd edition, which is include exposure monitoring, medical surveillance, reassessment, and also control record. In 2nd edition, they are not mentioned about the scope and application of CHRA manual, but in 3rd edition, there is 4 scopes that have been considered. So, a chemical hazardous to health, CHTH, is defined under usage regulation as a chemical which is listed in Schedule 1 or 2 of the usage regulation. Then, it is classified in any hazard class specified under the health hazard of the first schedule of the class regulation 2013. Next, a pesticide as defined under Pesticide Act 1974. And last, a schedule waste listed in the first schedule of the Environmental Quality Schedule Waste Regulation 2005. In 3rd edition, there is an alternative approach of chemical health risk assessment which is called simple assessment. This can be conducted using CIRAC method. However, full assessment should be considered as the first approach. So full assessment are divided by 2, which is site specific and also generic assessment. For site specific, it is conducted for each and every workplace where CHTH are used. But for generic assessment, it is done at representative location, which may be applied to all other locations in which the work activities are similar, comparable level of risk, and also similar control measure. To conduct simple assessment, we need to make sure that CHTH is listed in the chemical register and also not classified as carcinogenicity category 1, mutagenicity category 1, respiratory sensitization category 1. We need also to make sure that the CHTH is not from process-generated dust and fume, organic dust, scheduled waste, or gases like ammonia. Step in conducting CHRA is divided by 2, which is employer's duty and assessor duty. So for the employer's duty, they need to do the reassessment and also they need to select the assessor. For the assessor, they need to gather information. After that, divide into work unit, determine the degree of hazard, then assess exposure, risk determination, assess adequacy of control, conclude and recommend, and last, report writing.
In 3rd edition, frequency FR and duration rating DR is redefined and combined into frequency duration rating, which is FDR, and this FDR is no longer based on separate acute or chronic effects. To evaluate exposure for inhalation, there are 2 categories: quantitative evaluation and qualitative evaluation. 3 approaches to dermal risk were added into the 3rd edition manual. First is dermal hazards based on relevant H codes, which expose with corrosive or irritating properties. Second is dermal exposure based on duration of contact. Third is dermal risk that assign with 3 levels of risk, which are high, moderate, and low. The assessment is concluded by indicating the level of risk and the adequacy of existing control measures. Based on the finding of the assessment, the assessor must identify the required action to control or minimize the exposure to CHTH. The action priority AP is assigned to prioritize the action to be taken by the employer based on the assessment conclusion. In CHRA methodology, there are a few changes and improvement of steps in assessment in the third edition manual. For an example, they include recommendation and decide action priority AP in the last steps of CHRA assessment. Differences between second edition and the third edition in report writing is they include report title page and table of content in the third edition manual of CHRA. There are 4 new topics that were added in the CHRA third edition manual. First is exposure monitoring that elaborate the requirements for exposure monitoring. Second is medical surveillance that elaborate the requirements for medical surveillance. Third is reassessment, and fourth is control of records. There are a few challenges of implementing new CHRA guideline. First is adaptation, which is time consuming for a new guideline to be practiced. Second is training provided, and third is lack of competent assessor.
is the Industrial Revolution 4.0. Industrial Revolution 4.0 is a combination of the Cyber Physical System, CPS, and Industrial Internet of Things to the Industrial Production System, which make Industrial 4.0 possible and the Smart Factory as a reality. We have 4 industrial revolutions, and today we are focusing to the Industrial Revolution 4.0. There are 11 pillars that contribute to the Industrial Revolution 4.0 as shown in the pictures. We have vast examples of industries that already implemented the IR 4.0 in the 2019. But how we can improve our risk assessment in the chemical industry based on available IR tool to make a better decision in future? Number 1, through the autonomous robot. For example, the dual-arm ABB Yumi was designed to work alongside people without requiring the safety cage or barrier. Yumi created for innovative human, which is to increase the human performance approach to improve the emerging risk management linked to the complex system like as human-machine interactions and human-robot interaction. Number 2 is through the artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is a computer with a brain that can think and behave like a human being. Examples of the artificial intelligence is the Cognic VD and the Google DeepMind that use the cognitive artificial intelligence that help us to make a better decision based on the AL findings and stopping us from the losses in a proactive manner. Number 3 is through the Internet of Things, which is the tools and solution. The example of the Internet of Things is the radio frequency identification, which is RFID technologies, such as the chemical industry data exchange that needs the RFID to ensure that establish a returns of invoice. This is to ensure that collecting data and sharing with authorized individuals or organizations can be done through the cloud computing companies, such as Amazon and Microsoft. Thus, this will improve the asset management system with the usage of the RFID. Number 4 is through the augmented reality, which is the upskill is a venture backed by the like of Cisco and Accenture, and is well positioned to leverage AR or VR technologies to help manufacturers to improve operation through the preparations of the ready employability skilling program for the ITI student. Number 5 is through the system integration. For example, the sensor also contributes elements to the Schneider Electric to perform the EcoStructure. EcoStructures is a system integrator to deliver enhanced value around safety, reliability, efficiency, sustainability, and connectivity. System integration is a process commonly implemented in the fields of engineering and information technology. It involves the combinations of various computing systems and software packages in order to create a larger system. Number 6 is through the big data analytics. Example of big data analytics is the Uptick. It's a provider of the predictive analytics software that collects and interprets sensors data for clients. Big data analytics can help the chemical industry to shift from the trial and error-based approach to the model's outcome to digitalize the material selection process. Besides, it can help to identify the cause and develop a long-term remedy. Number 7 is through the stimulation. Example of stimulation is the software technomatic process simulate Siemens, which is configurations of the virtual environment from the real world to the virtual world. Thus, this will implement of the virtual ergonomic to reduce the risk of the ergonomics during the work task. Number 8, through the cyber security. For example, is the Clarity suite of industrial remote access and threat detection solution help to mitigate the ever-increasing costs and risks of industrial cyber attacks as more and more valuable industrial assets are connected to the IP-based network.